Greetings, this is Jacqueline, and I just wanted to come on and speak about different ways that you can use Microsoft Access to uh, look at data on the census. You can use it if you're at a work in a work area. You want to show your performance for your group or anything like that. I'm using census data because it's real data. I didn't feel like making anything up. It can be informative. What I did, I went to the census website and I pulled this sheet. So you can go in and you can basically, I'm going to delete this sheet so I can show you how I made it. Okay, so I just deleted that tab. So basically what I got from the census was, it's talking about in the year 2010, when how much money women made. I found for myself that I wasn't making a whole lot of money compared to um, other women. So I'm wondering, what was going on in that year, 2010? What was I doing in 2010? Oh, okay, I remember. I was in a graduate school, but uh, the annual household income to the right of this screen over here. This is for women who basically uh, in the previous year had a baby and what their income was compared to all women. Okay. And so the way that we use data and how Excel is so interesting. So if you're a YouTuber and you like to speak, to report on things, whether you're just having a conversation with your friends, whether you're just trying to navigate your way through this world, how am I faring in the United States as a woman, if you're a woman? Or they've got census data for everything, pretty much whatever you filled out, they've got that data, and you can look and compare yourself with the rest of the United States and say, where do I fare in this? And you can almost just go down to your demographic and just get into the nitty gritty of the numbers and the figures and get an idea about what's going on outside of your household, inside of your household, in the world. What are the possibilities for you? What are your limitations? What are your odds? So here I would, because a lot of times people, oh, this is not 2010, this is 2017. Okay, this is more recent. I'm looking at this tab because when I pulled it down, I was looking, they do it by, I guess, every 10 years. They have the data set up that way. So I was thinking 2010, but this, you can actually see in the tab, it's 2017. I pulled it right in, okay? Um, One thing that you have to do is you're going to have to format the data. So what I did, I said, okay, annual household income and the total. And I just took that and I copied it. And you see down here, you see this plus sign. Hit the plus sign, it gives you a new sheet. And then just paste it. And I double click here, and it's a left double click. And what that'll do is that'll widen the column so that you can see it'll widen it to the greatest length of that column. So here on the left is your, here to your left is your income ranges, and here to your right is the number of people in that range. So population of women. So I just renamed that column. Okay. And so I want to see what all women do, right? Then I want to see what happens to a woman if she has a baby. I want to see what happens to a woman if she is a single mother, because that seems to be a topic a lot. The single mothers and what they make. So what we're going to do, we're going to answer the first question of what happens if she's a woman. So I highlight this whole thing, right? And then the next thing I do is I will insert a recommended chart. And the chart I have picked before was the population. So you can see that here in Excel, when it recommends a chart, it looks at the data and it says, well, what kind of charts do we have that can best represent this data? So you could actually use this kind of chart. Let's switch it up. I would like to see what this type of chart does. And I'll say, okay. So what this chart is doing is it's saying at the bottom, now, and I can also, if you go up here, you could change what the chart type, what it looks like. I usually like the contrast of black and blue. And I'll show you how to also make this more colorful and pretty. So what it looks like now is saying that the population of women, so this is how many women made 100,000. This many women made 50 to 79. So the most popular thing that women made, which is amazing, was $100,000 or more. They're actually, and here we have 50 to 74,999 right here is your 13,210. And where we got to the 100,000 or more, that's actually adding up these right here, these three down here. The 75 to 99 is right here. So as you look, in 2017, we actually had more women making that amount of money. So let's switch this chart out. More women made over 100,000 a year. I've heard some YouTubers bragging about like making six figures. That's what most women make. So let's look at, let's change the chart. So over here where it says type, you can actually change the type of chart that you want to use. So let's use something that may be easier to understand, or what we were using before, and that's the 2017 women. So see how this chart has changed. If I left click and I say, if you left click on this bar, you can see where it says add data labels. And so that gives you the number. So like I said, from 100,000 to 149,999, most women make 13,829,380 people make between 100,000 and 149,999. It gets lower as you go above 150,000, but that kind of gives you an idea. If we want to, and we can also right click and format the data series, and I can say, you know, these bars are too close together, and I can change my gap width. You see where it says gap width? I can change it by this up arrow, or I can take it and I can move it up or down, up or down. See, I'm sliding the mouse. You can see where my mouse is and make it look better. I want a gap width. That just makes it cleaner. If you don't need, since we have these numbers on the side, you may not desire to put this scale down here. You can simply, as you see, I left click on it and I hit the delete button. Wow, that is a crisp thing. 2017 women uh, salaries for all women. But we may be concerned. We may say, well, yeah, I don't make that much. What is my problem? You know, why am I not making what most women are making? And then that might decide whether you want to actually get married or whether marriage is better, or whether you want to have children, whether that's better for you as an individual. Uh, if you're single, you have that option, maybe, you know, so you can say, is that really something that is beneficial for me? And it also decides, well, if I do get married, what's going to happen if I have children? If I don't get married and have children, what happens to me? So let's see what happens when with the people who just had a child last year. So what I do is I take this and I highlight, I left click, highlight down, and then I right click, I copy. I go back to my sheet and I'll paste. I want the same format as up here. Let me clean this up a little bit. I want the same format as up here. So what I do is I highlight this and I go to Format Painter and I click in where it says household income, and I'm just going to say population of women again. Population of women after childbirth last year. And then I, you know, remember I double click, left double click to get to perhaps the to make this sentence fit in this space. Now, if you don't want it to be so gapped up, you can left click over here where you see this 17. I could actually make it wrap. So I left click and I can move my mouse up and down and make this row a little bit wider. I can say wrap text, and I can pull this back in and pull this until you can see the whole thing. And you can also do a merge and center, or you can do a center, and that way that cleans that up quite a bit. So now I want to do another chart. Once I bring in all women who just had a baby last year. So I'm going to take this. I make sure I have the same number of rows. I'm matching this 3412301. It's under 10,000 to each other, so that when I copy it over here, it matches up. Okay, it's the same number of rows, same number of columns. And I want to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to insert the same type of chart for comparability. So let's do this one again. And like I said, we got rid of this at the bottom. I left click on, right click, add data labels. So then I want to look at a comparison. So of course it's going to be less, the number is going to be less than up here because a lot of these women did not have babies last year. So if I had a baby, still, there are people in the 100 to 149,999. So this still looks good for them, right? But if you look down here, a lot of them are 50 to 74,999. So we can deduct from this that the comparison from here to here, a few more women made 50 to 74 that had a baby last year. Now that could be that A woman making 100 to 149,999 may have chosen her career first, or she could be, in order for her to get up to 100,000, she may have taken a lot of years, and she may be past the point that she's having children or wants to have children. Her children may be older. She's not in her 20s or early 30s, so she may be deciding, okay, I've had all the children I'm going to have, and I don't want any more children after I reach a certain age, because I want to send the children I have off to college, right? So it may be an indication that out of this 100, 149,999, what this really means, this is all women. Out of these women, 670,000 had children. And out of 50 to 74.99, only 705, 117 had children. So it kind of, it skews a little bit, but not much. So there's not that much difference, I would say, in the salaries of people who had children last year. So that didn't really hurt them that much. Some may have decided not to have them, but it didn't drastically cut their salary. So then we look and we want to see, once again, we're going to pull this chart over here. I want to know what happened if they were unmarried. I'm going to skip over married. I'm just going to do unmarried, because I think that would be, I hear so many people talking about single mothers. I want to know what happens to them if they have children and when they're not married. Okay, so copy, paste. Let me see, what is unmarried after childbirth? And I'm just going to format this, copy this format. Okay. Now we're going to highlight this data. Insert recommended chart. We're going to pick this chart up again. I'm going to change it to what I like it to look like, and I'll say this. Kill this at the bottom. Right click, left click to highlight it, right click to add data label. I want to add it. And here we go. Amazingly enough, out of all the women who had children last year, the 100,000 to the 149,999, 136,822 of them were single women. I'm surprised, but if you look and see how many made 50 to 74,999, as they go up in salary, it seems like they're having children less often. And if you look, most of the single women who had a baby in 2016 made between 50 and 74,999. So it doesn't really match up. And when you say that they go into poverty, 166,509 made under 10,000. That's scary. But I think the poverty level would be this 15. So if you added these three together, that would probably tell you more. because I really would, if I wanted to look at data, I would say, I want to know, I'm sorry, I picked the wrong ones. I would want to know who's below the poverty level. So say these three numbers here, oh no, these two numbers here, 15 to 24.99. I think 15,000 is below the poverty level, but because it's showing 24,999, I would say I would want to know the sum of that, and that would tell me something. So we could also go in. So now that we know what this data is, we could go in and combine some of these numbers. So I would say 0 to 24,999. Sorry, let me change 0 to 24,999. And I would add this, I would add these together. There's a formatting issue. I'll show you how to do that too. I would add these three together and make one set of data. And I can tell what the answer is 10,186,233. And that's at the bottom of my screen. You see where my mouse is pointing. So 10,186. Oh, hold on. That's 10,186,233. And let me just kill these two lines because I want to see this together. And I'll do the same for this. Copy, paste. And what I do is I can just add this together. Delete these lines. And you're going to see my chart does change. It has the 680,062. And so this actually gives me a better idea of what happens when a woman gives birth and she's not married, what happens to her financially. So plus 166,509 plus 78926 plus 183, 424,618. Okay, so now we get some real stats. So yes, her salary goes way down. Look at this. She's at 424,618. 424,618 are below the poverty level. People who just out of everyone, so there were 680,062 women who gave birth last year who were under the poverty level, and 424,000 of them weren't married. So you even had some who made less than 25,000 and they were married. And looking up here, if for everybody, there's 10,186,233 people who are under the poverty level in 2017. It's a lot. And it's kind of interesting that this is kind of close to how many people make 75 to 99. So there's a gap. 50 to 70, 50 to 74.99. That's pretty much a close range to attain. And you're almost as likely to make 100 to 149. Not many people make 25 to 35,000. Not many women made that amount of money. So as you can see, this is how you can kind of tell. If we wanted to scale this, we could do we could combine these tables, and that would be interesting as well. We could combine this data. I could show that in a later video, but this is as much as I wanted to show. I'm really demonstrating the charts, but I'm also demonstrating the data analysis skills that you can use that are really helpful in business. I'm just speaking on things that are personal, that may be personal to someone, or maybe something that a person will want to use when they're explaining what's going on in the United States and society. We have an election year. We can look at this, we can crunch this data and see what the problems are. I think that was that was one of the campaign members who were in the business field was doing. He was crunching numbers to see how to run his campaign and what to do. We didn't get so far into politics. I just want to show you how you can demonstrate your point if you're trying to make one. Like I was trying to make a point that being unmarried and having a child last year in 2016 could increase the poverty level for you. And if you can look and see, it really, if they had a child in 2017, look at the numbers. You can see if they were unmarried, how many actually how many children went into poverty, how many newborns were born in poverty. So that's all that could be tied to healthcare. We could pull some more census numbers and see how many had a job that did not have a maternity leave, so they got pregnant and they had to leave. So we can deduce some things from these numbers. We can filter into these, and that's how charting helps a lot. It is easier to see than to just look at these numbers. Well, that's it for me, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I plan on doing more. If you like this channel and you want to subscribe to this channel, please do so if you just want to use it as a reference. If you have some Excel questions, please put them in the comment section below, and I could do a video on them to possibly solve, maybe an Excel question that you have, whether you're at work or you just are looking to learn Excel or whatever you want to use it for. If you put it down in the comment section, I can do a video on it and answer your question. All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.